What's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome. I need to get my transition back in there. But welcome. Today we're talking about Bitcoin ABC because it's only a week and a day old. So that's neat. And it's been very interesting microism of what can happen on a minority SHA-256 chain. And so I think it's very interesting because right now it's worth 3% of Bitcoin Cash, 3.5%, which is worth a little less than 2% of Bitcoin. And then you put 3% of 2%, that's a very low percentage of all the SHA-256 hash. So yeah. So we can see a microism of what the heck can happen when you don't have a lot of hash rate. And so in other news, the Queen was interested in a blockchain journal she received in the post. So that's why obviously we're pumping today, and why Bitcoin Cash is currently sitting at $360 and PTC's at 19,000, because she received a blockchain journal in the post, and she was interested to learn that the publication is the first open access blockchain research journal available both in print and online. So, all right. Anyways, back to the show. So what recently just happened, like literally 30 minutes, 45 minutes ago. Hour ago, whatever. A block was orphaned on the ABC IFP chain, and this is cash.coin.dance. And well, what does that mean? And so people thought it was indeed a via BTC. Okay, I need to back up a little bit. Okay, so here's the current chain. Here's the current blocks on Bitcoin ABC. Hey, nice desk, dude. Thanks, beer. Here's the current blocks on. I need to get my other desk back. Actually, now that you say that, I like my other desk. Oh, that's awkward. Anyways. So here's the current blocks in ABC, and so the unknown miner, I'll zoom in a bit. There's an unknown miner that does the majority of the blocks, and via BTC comes in with an 8 megabyte block every once in a while to try and clear the mempool. The mempool sitting at, if I understand it correctly, is this site says 250,000 transactions right now. So via BTC would need to do at least 10, 12 of those blocks to fully clear the mempool. I believe the mempool might actually be bigger because there's a ton of spam transactions going in to even make the issue worse. And so anyways, the unknown miner has been, well, they've been absolutely going at it. And so Javier, wow, what can I not say? He came up with this excellent chart that kind of chronicles when this all started. So I'll pull that up right here. And so I'm gonna zoom in a bit. And so this first red line on the left here is when BCHA first split. And so on the left, you have the difficulty. It's a little hard to see, I know, but it was at 200 billion right here. And then since then, the ABC difficulty has been dropping because difficulty follows price, because a miner is not going to mine a chain unprofitably most of the time, we come to learn. Hello from Venezuela. Hello. Telegram group link. What's up, Steven? And so, yeah, and each of these dots is a block, and the difficulty does going down. So this is also an accurate representation of like the new difficulty adjustment algorithm going in hot. And so the transaction flow with all these spam transactions I was talking about started here, which was the 20th about, and then the empty block miner started coming in the next day, the 21st. And so this is who we're talking about, this mystery empty block miner. Some people know who he is. I don't. I can 100% sure I don't know who this is. And so if you think I'm there just a mouthpiece, I'm not. This is just very interesting to see. So that's all I gotta say about that. And so we'll go through this a little bit and what they mean. November 25th, 2020, BCHA dump was written in the Coinbase message of each of their blocks after this date. And then they added voluntarism.dev. I think it's a port you can go through. Oh, nice. Thanks for that. And thanks for the BCH. And that's, of course, tipbitcoin.cash/tip/Collin instead. The link is in the description. Send me Bitcoin Cash in the non-custodially. It's very awesome. Very awesome. So they take like 2% compared to YouTube, which takes like 40-50%. But anyways, and then like a day ago, there was never a funding problem started coming up in transactions that he started including, so they weren't completely empty blocks. And so What the heck does all this mean, you may ask? And so let's look at one of these blocks, shall we? And so this is block 662098 by the unknown miner. And so this is the Coinbase data. So they write this onto the blockchain. November 25th, 2020, BCH8 dump. So that's, well, today, internationally, 0000 UTC. So, voluntary, it's, I forget exactly. It's a Stratum protocol, I think, where you can hook into, I don't know exactly. And so, anyways, this is an empty block. So there's all this transaction in the mempool, but only one transaction. And they are paying the dev tax, for lack of a better word than tax. They are paying that to the ABC and the Global Network Council, so good for them. And so you will see that they're not completely empty blocks here. And so, well, what if you got some ABC coins and you want to move them? What do you do? Well, let's look at what these transactions have in their op return. Well, the op return says there was never a funding problem, period. So, come to find out, if you want to get a ABC transaction included in a block, you have to write, if you want this, you either have to pay a shitload of fee to be at the very top of the mempool, so VBTC will include you when they randomly find a block, or you type in "there was never a funding problem" period into the op return of your transaction. November 25th is tomorrow. It's in 3 hours for where I am, so there might be a dump, there might not be. This is not trading advice, of course. So never have trading advice here. So, but literally, I tested this. Like somebody posted this in a Telegram group that, hey, to get your transaction included, all you need to do is do this. I was like, no way, that's so ridiculous. And so, well, it worked. And so here's my ABC wallet. This actually isn't the correct one that I use, but it's Electrum ABC. So Electron Cash is having like weird problems using ABC coins. So you can download Electrum ABC 4.3 and you can open up any wallet that uses with the Electron Cash, and your ABC coins should be in there. And so I actually did test something out before the show. I sent one transaction that did not have the op return open sesame data, whatever you want to call it. We call it the sesame pass to get into a block. And then I sent another one parent that had it in there. So I'm wondering if one of the transactions has the passcode in it. Hi, dog. If one of the transactions have the passcode in it, will it get included? So we will see. This is a poor man's wallet. Shows your 10,000, 100,000. I don't show that on stream. I don't show that on stream. You have pizza right there. I'll eat after the show. Yeah. Make sure it stays hot. And so, yeah, that's literally what you have to do to get in. And I'm attempting a child pays for parent. I don't think I'm doing it quite right. So I was just seeing if it's gonna work. So so there's not like, you can't cancel a transaction in Bitcoin Cash and now Bitcoin ABC like you can with BTC, where you can use RBF. So it's a little difficult if your transaction is already the mempool to try and like boost it, because generally you can just like boost the fee, like add another transaction with a higher fee, and it will get to the top of the mempool. But this miner is kind of deciding which transactions goes in purely on some text. So who knows really, right? Who knows really? So let's see. Did he include my transaction in this one? And we still haven't had another block quite yet. So and so, yeah, that's that. And so these spam, so there's a bunch of spam, right? So these VBTC blocks are 8 megabytes each. The hard limit on ABC chain, just as well as in BCH, is 32 megabytes, but the pool decides not to mine anything bigger than 8 megabytes. And so what you get is, like, I'll just show you this block. It's pretty ridiculous, the transactions they're including in these. And so perhaps this like empty block miner and these spam transactions are together. Nobody really knows. I'm like, being savage. And so here's like the transactions that's included in BTC block. One input, 2 outputs, and it's just like $1 each. I'm assuming they're just like sending it to themselves, but that's like literally all it is. And they have 4 kilobytes per byte. So I'm guessing that's like outbidding every other like normal transaction. So if you actually do want to get in a via BTC block and you don't want to say the special phrase, well, up your fee. So actually, child pay for their parents should work in that respect. But anyway, so look at one of these transactions here, and it's just like a bunch of gibberish in the op return. It's just a bunch of gibberish. I asked a couple people what they think it meant, and it's gibberish. I think they just did it to make the transaction bigger. So, but, maybe they will rebrand it. Jesus Christ, y'all. Jesus Christ, y'all. So, yeah, literally, there was never a funding problem in the op return, and the empty block miner will include your transaction in his block. And so, what the heck does this all mean? Well, he's obviously saying there's going to be a dump today, so there could be a dump today. There was like somewhat of a dump today. I mean, I'll show you a quick chart of what's going on in that market specifically. So here's like the hourly graph. I mean, there was a pretty big dump of 6,000 ABC coins in like last hour, which is, see if you see that right there, I'm pointing at my screen right here on the bottom, it's the 25th. It's still small. Oh, on the bottom right there, it's the 25th UTC. There's a dump. So will it continue? Who knows? Obviously this is now a very low liquidity coin, so it can continue to half or it can double. You can lose all your money. I don't know, but what does this mean in the grand scheme of things? Well, this miner is taking the ABC chain and making its little bitch. That's really what's going on here. I mean, you could argue in a way that they're still paying this like miner dev tax or whatever, and so they are still paying ABC 8%, 4% going to global net concert of every block. They are paying that, so technically it's within the consensus rules. But like you can't get a transaction included unless you get a really high fee and hope via BTC gets a block. Or you say the magic words. And so, again, going back to this chart, there's a 20 meg. Oh, yeah, there was another block. Let me check out that block. So many blocks. And so the empty block miner did mine a 20 megabyte block. So that is possible. Wow. You can go higher than 8 megabytes. Amazing. Where did this block go? There it is. And so he included a 20 megabyte block in the blockchain, and of course he has the Coinbase string in there. November 25th, BCH 8 dump. Do I think the ABC dump will pump BCH? I mean, I think the amount of just pure liquidity is just like so low compared to BCH. I don't think it could. I mean, like the only value that you could pump back into BCH would be the value it took, and it was like $20 off the get-go, and now it's only $12. And so like maybe you could see like a $5 pump, like $10 pump, but like BCH has been pumping so hard anyways, it's like, can you really correlate the two? So I'm not sure. And so anyways, back to this block. It has 20 transactions in it. They all have one input and 100 outputs, and that's a lot of outputs. And what do the outputs, what do they do? Well, they're all op returns. And guess what they all say? There was never a funding problem. There was never a funding problem. There was never a funding problem. Literally just like 100. There was never a funding problems. Oh, it's probably more than that actually. It's probably per. Can I like click the op return and see? You see the address. But yeah. So that's a lot of. There's never a funding problem. And so yes, this miner is spending a lot of money. The miner is mad lads. Yeah, he's pretty insane because he's spending so much money. The last estimate I heard was $7,000 he was burning a day to do this, and maybe up to 10 if you're not calculating like the actual ABC coins he's actually mining, because it's only 6 coins per block, and that's 6 times. I mean, he's not making money on this. We'll just say that, right? And so, yes, he's spending money, but he's making the chain basically unusable. I mean, like any wallet that you can't put an op return in and say the magic code, it's basically like it's almost a consensus rule at this point, because you almost have to do it to get into a block. Luckily, via BTC is still around, and that via BTC I mean, it's obviously a pool. There's probably some individuals that are pointing some hash at it. So, and then back to an hour ago about that orphan block that I picked out at the beginning, right? So we're all caught up to present day, right? And we got this all. There was never a funny problem. 20 megabyte block, yeah. And so we're at the 25th today. So welcome to November 25th, 2020. Where there was a block orphan, and this literally happened like right when the day started. So in the beginning, people were like, "Oh shit, he's about to orphan everything. It's the 25th. Yeah, everybody run!" But it was just an orphan race, and so this actually happens in Bitcoin all the time. It's basically when two miners find the next block at about the same time, and then they attempt to mine. So say the block 20,000. It's a random ass number. And they each find block 20,001, but they're separate blocks because they're including different transactions. They got their own Coinbase string. And now it's a race to see who can build on top of their own chain and make their own chain longer, right? And so what happened was the empty block miner had more hash, and so he built on top of his own chain. So some people saw the VBTC block, and they thought that was the new chain, but it wasn't. The other chain got longer because there's another block built on top of it. And an orphan happened. The VBTC block said bye-bye, try again next block, and that's happened. And so this happens when miners find blocks at about the same time. It usually doesn't happen very much because if you're mining on an old block, there's a good chance you will basically just like, you'll get outpaced completely by the total proof of work on the other chain. And so it doesn't happen a lot, but it did just happen on ABC. I would assume this is more likely on a lower hash chain. I don't know. I can't say I have a confidence at this point. I have to think through it a little bit. But that did just happen indeed. And so at 35 minutes, VBTC mines a block received by the node. The empty blocks miners times up at 36. And so the node received the empty blocks much later, but you're probably indirectly connected. And then the node switched to the empty block when your peers did, and they gave you 2 blocks at the same time. So again, they find a longer chain. So really what somebody could do if they had like all the hash. What's up, Tao Jam? Thanks for the coins. Thanks for the real Bitcoin Cash. Do you think ABC will adopt ASIC resistance in the decentralized blockchain? So yeah, we'll get to that. And so the nodes switched to an empty block when the peers did, and they gave you 2 blocks at the same time. So yeah, this now 2 block longer chain has more proof of work, so the nodes will accept it as the longest chain. So technically it was a tiny fork, but not enough to make a whole show. I totally did just make a whole show about it. The orphan block had transactions. Yes, it did. It was a VBTC block. It was probably a lot of those spam transactions. And so I believe it's hard to like comb through the mempool because there's just so many damn transactions. I believe those spam transactions are like putting a higher Satoshi per byte as the minimum fee goes up. So, yeah. And so will ABC adopt ASIC resistance? That is the question. I mean, when I first saw this orphan, I was like, oh fuck, ABC is super fucked, right? Because they're actually like getting attacked for this now. Like when you orphan a block full of valid transactions, that's pretty much an attack. Like you're saying no transactions at all. This empty block is kind of an attack, I guess you'd say. I mean, it is. It's unless you say the passcode. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. The passcode. Make sure you say the passcode. So if this continues for a long time, yes, it's possible they change proof of work. I mean, again, they're 3% of a 2% chain, which is just like so tiny of the total SHA-256 proof of work, right? It's so small, and yeah, stuff like this can happen way cheaper on ABC. 97% cheaper on ABC than it can on Bitcoin Cash, and so. When you're this small of a SHA-256 chain, it might be beneficial to change proof of work, go to proof of stake, do something. I wouldn't be surprised if any of that stuff does happen on ABC, because at the end of the day, a blockchain is meant to be used, and if you can't use it because somebody's attacking you because they can, and yes, they're burning money to do an attack, but usually attacks do cost a little bit of money, right? And so I think Bitcoin Gold had some reorgs, and so I believe CoinEx right now, their ABC confirmation that they want for deposits is 6 for ABC. And so like it used to be just one. And like, for example, if that just happened on via BTC with the via BTC block and then it got reorged, like there's ways you can basically just like double spend your money, right? Proof of stake is your guess. Yeah, I would think so. Them being so close with the Avalanche folks, I would assume why not, right? I think they want to transition there anyway, and this would probably be one of the better places to do it, to be completely honest. So yeah, it's an attack that could have always happened in Bitcoin Cash, but the amount of money that it would require again, like, I guess it's 30 times more. It would require 30 times more. So it would be quick math, like $200,000 a day to do this on Bitcoin Cash. So, yeah. 40 chess. They're doing the empty blocks to push for Avalanche on ABC. Yes, I did get your tip. Thank you, Tao. Perhaps I'm angry with the mysterious miner who should write a letter to the global network and see if they can solve the problem. Yeah. Again, I think proof of work change would probably be the best way to go about it. Who knows how long this empty miner wants to do this thing? It was we were watching a lot of BCH folks and become AVAX. I guess BCH market price are just dog and man's got to eat. Yeah. I mean, there was never a funding problem, I guess. The miner just trying to teach us a very expensive lesson at the end of the day. Yeah, 40 chess for sure. For sure. So I ain't got much to say. Anybody else got any questions on this? Does this end the forking of Bitcoin Cash? We look like a bunch of forkers. Hey, fork off, man. I hope so. I would think it's gonna be at least 2 more years till there's another fork. It's just every 2 years. Don't worry about it. I would assume so. I don't know exactly. I think the main person that kind of fanned the fights is gone. So I would hope we have less forks from now on, but cannot guarantee anything. This is the end of forking for the next while. That is for sure. And so the miner says BCH8 dump, and perhaps that is happening now. I don't know. I usually don't like to talk about markets in here just because I just don't, and I don't feel comfortable doing so, but we will. Because to basically dump this, there's a lot of BCHA bids. So right here, there's about 3,000 BCHA, which is really only about 700. Wait, no, like 70, 80, 90 BCH. So it's not a ton of BCH, but it's a lot of BCHA. And so you would think the sellers would run out of BCHA soon. But that's just people that actually want to buy BCHA at this point, right? So hopes the last split. We should not be ashamed. The Global Network Council has been called to convene during this emergency. Jesus Christ. No, just and again, I don't want to like spend a lot of shows on ABC by any means. This is definitely going to like remain a Bitcoin Cash show, but peer-to-peer cash should be boring, I guess, and this isn't boring. So yeah. I hope this is the last split. We should not be ashamed to resist a takeover attempt. Yes, but yeah, we see the expansion of transaction in BCH after all this. Yeah, we can hope it's going to be much better after this. I mean, I don't see why not. Peer-to-peer cash still lives on, and I think the market is very much speculation right now. It's very much speculation, and I think people are pushing for a path to this adoption of peer-to-peer cash, but it's going slowly, and like the adoption. We'll get there. We'll get there. We're past this split. I think we're still like all like releasing of all this like drama that happened over the last year. Purchased 10 BCH in 2018 for $23,000. I'm sorry about that, bro. You got some heavy bags. It's relatable. Okay, I'm gonna continue streaming on Twitch. I like to keep my YouTube shows kind of short, but I will be on Twitch, probably playing some video game or something. But we can talk Bitcoin all you want over there. For sure. So twitch.tv/Collin instead. Subscribe to me here on YouTube and go follow me over on Twitch, and I'll be there for the next couple hours. So please come over. It's in links in the description. So If I was Calvin, I would mine ABC with my extra hash just to spice up. I mean, again, you could. It's so cheap. It's so damn cheap to do so. 10,000 a day to do it on ABC compared to 20,000. No, what's more than 20,000? 200,000. So, anyways, bye YouTube. Go over to Twitch right now. We can continue talking, guys. It's cool. All right, welcome to Twitch.